It started 3 months after Daniel died. Claire still had his number saved on her phone. She couldn't delete it, no matter how many times she tried. Every time she scrolled past his name, Daniel Reed, her thumb froze, her stomach twisted, and something inside her whispered, "Not yet." They'd been married just 4 years when the accident happened. One moment, Daniel was on his way home from the lumberyard. The next, a drunk driver ran a red light on Highway 23 and took him away. The police said he died instantly. Quick, painless, but there was nothing quick or painless about the silence that followed. The nights were the worst. Their little house on Maple Creek Road had always felt warm and alive. The sound of Daniel humming while brushing his teeth, the way the floor creaked when he passed the kitchen. Now it was all stillness and echoes. Even the air seemed heavier. She tried to move on, she really did. Therapy sessions, Sunday church, long walks through the town's quiet streets, none of it helped. The grief just sat inside her like wet sand, impossible to shake off. Then one Thursday night, her phone buzzed at 2:47 a.m. The sound yanked her out of a half-sleep. She reached for the phone on her nightstand, blinking against the dark. One new voicemail, no missed call, just a voicemail. She frowned, rubbing her eyes. The number read 608-555-4913. Her breath stopped. That was Daniel's number. At first, she thought it had to be some sort of mix-up. Maybe the phone company recycled it. Maybe someone else had it now. But her hands were trembling before she even pressed play. A hiss of static filled the room. For a few seconds, that was all there was. White noise, low and broken, like an old radio struggling to catch a signal. Then a faint click, and the line went dead. Claire sat there in bed, heart pounding so hard it hurt. The room felt colder suddenly. The little digital clock on her nightstand blinked 2:49 a.m. in soft red light. She stared at her phone for a long time, willing the screen to tell her it was just a glitch. The next morning, she convinced herself that's exactly what it was. A wrong number, a tech error. Anything but what her heart whispered, "He's trying to reach you." She deleted the voicemail and went about her day, pretending to be fine. At the diner where she worked, she poured coffee, smiled at the regulars, and ignored the pity in their eyes. Everyone in town knew what happened. They all meant well, but every sympathetic look felt like a reminder she didn't want. That night, she fell asleep on the couch with the TV still playing. At 3:12 a.m., her phone buzzed again. One new voicemail, same number. She didn't even think this time. Her hand shook as she pressed play. Static again, louder this time, harsher, like someone breathing through the noise. And then, right before the line cut out, a faint sound, almost a voice, just one muffled word she couldn't make out. She dropped the phone. It clattered onto the floor as she stared into the dark, heart hammering in her chest. "No," she whispered. "No, no, no." Her eyes darted toward the window. The old maple tree outside cast long shadows across the curtains, swaying gently in the wind. But for just a second, she thought she saw something, a shape, standing beside it. Tall. Still. She didn't sleep for the rest of the night. By morning, the voicemail was gone. Her phone said message expired, like it had never existed. She swore she hadn't deleted it, that maybe she had by accident. She didn't know anymore. Everything felt foggy. She tried calling the number back that afternoon. "The number you have dialed is not in service." Her knees went weak. For the next 2 nights, nothing happened. She started to think she'd imagined it all. Grief could play tricks, she'd read that online. Phantom smells, phantom voices, the mind's cruel way of holding on. But on Sunday night, the call came again. She didn't even check the screen. She knew. She hit play with her heart in her throat. Static. A click. Then a low whisper, clear this time. A man's voice. Her husband's voice, "Stop ignoring me." The line crackled, stretched into silence. And then, through the faint hiss of white noise, his voice again, closer, more deliberate. "I'm right behind you." Claire froze. Her head turned, slow as ice cracking. The living room was dark except for the flicker of the TV screen, some late-night commercial playing soundlessly. The air felt wrong, heavy. She could feel something cold brush the back of her neck. Her phone slipped from her hand. Behind her, the floor creaked. The same soft sound she used to hear every night when Daniel came in from brushing his teeth. Her breath caught in her chest. And then she whispered, barely audible, "Daniel?" Claire didn't move for a long time. She just sat there, staring at the dark space beyond her living room, heart hammering so loudly she could feel it in her ears. There was nothing. No shape, no voice, no breath. Just the old clock ticking on the wall and the low hum of the refrigerator down the hall. She finally turned on every light in the house, the kitchen, the hallway. Even the porch, nothing. But she couldn't shake the feeling that the air itself was charged, like the moment before lightning hits. She stayed awake until sunrise, sitting at the kitchen table with her phone lying face down. Every creak of the old house made her flinch. When daylight finally spilled through the windows, she almost cried. At 9 a.m., she called her best friend Maggie, who lived across town. "I know it sounds crazy," Claire said, pacing. "But it was him. I heard him." Maggie was quiet on the other end. "Sweetheart, you've been through hell. Sometimes our brains, they make us hear things we want to hear." "I didn't want to hear that," Claire said sharply. "He said he was right behind me." He whispered it. "Maybe a prank call?" "You said the number's not in service." "Could be some creep using a spoof app." Claire wanted to believe that. She really did. But Daniel's voice, she'd know it anywhere. The softness in it, the slight rasp when he was tired. No app could copy that. "I don't think it was a prank." "Then go to the sheriff," Maggie said. "Report it. At least check the phone records." Claire promised she would, but she didn't. Deep down, she knew no one would believe her. That night, she couldn't bring herself to turn the lights off. She dozed on the couch around 11, her phone clutched in her hand like a lifeline. At 3 o'clock sharp, the phone buzzed again. Her chest tightened. She hesitated for a long moment before unlocking the screen. One new voicemail. No missed call. Her thumb hovered over play. She almost didn't do it. Static. Louder this time. Violent. Like waves crashing inside her ears. Then silence. A long, heavy silence that made her skin crawl. And then a whisper. Not Daniel's voice this time. A woman's. Soft, breathy, trembling. "Help me." Claire sat up so fast the phone nearly slipped from her hand. The voice repeated faintly, "Help me." Before the recording ended, she stared at the screen, waiting for something else. Another sound, another word, but the line had already gone dead. She replayed the message 5 times, heart thudding harder each time. It wasn't her voice. It wasn't Maggie's. It wasn't anyone she knew. By morning, she looked pale and hollow-eyed. She called Maggie again, but when she tried to play the message on speaker, it was gone. Deleted automatically, you see? Maggie said gently. Probably a scam recording or a tech glitch. Phones do weird stuff, but Claire's hands were shaking. No, it was real. After Maggie hung up, Claire drove to the cemetery. Daniel's grave sat beneath an old elm tree on the hill. She stood there for a long time, the October wind stinging her face. "I don't know if this is you," she whispered, "but please. If it is, stop. You're scaring me." The wind picked up, rustling the dead leaves. Somewhere in the distance, she thought she heard her phone buzz. When she checked, there was a notification she hadn't seen before. New voicemail, unknown. Her stomach dropped. She hit play with trembling fingers. The static was quieter this time, softer, almost rhythmic. She closed her eyes and listened carefully. Beneath the noise, she heard breathing, slow, deep, uneven. Then Daniel's voice again, faint, as if far away. "Why won't you answer me?" She covered her mouth with her hand. "Oh God," she whispered. And then another sound came through, not from the phone, but from behind her, footsteps, crunching softly on the gravel path. Claire turned, heart pounding. The cemetery was empty except for the trees swaying in the wind. But the sound kept going, closer, slower, deliberate. She took a step back. Daniel? Nothing. Her phone buzzed again, vibrating so hard she nearly dropped it. The screen flickered, glitched, then froze, showing her voicemail app stuck open. The last message timestamp read 2:47 a.m., but it was 11:13 a.m. She stared at it, confused, the same time the very first voicemail had come in days ago. Suddenly the phone screen turned black. A single line of white text appeared, as if typed by someone else. "You shouldn't have come here." Claire gasped and stumbled backward, nearly tripping over a headstone. The phone went dead. No power. No sound. Nothing. She ran to her car and locked herself inside, shaking uncontrollably. The battery light on her phone blinked back on a minute later, perfectly normal, as if nothing had happened. The mysterious message was gone. By the time she got home, she was convinced she was losing her mind. But when she plugged her phone into the charger, a notification flashed across the screen. One new voicemail. The number listed wasn't Daniel's anymore. It simply read unknown caller, and this time, the timestamp said 11:13 a.m., the exact moment she'd been standing over his grave. Her hand trembled as she pressed play. Static. Then Daniel's voice, soft and sorrowful, clearer than ever. "Stop visiting my grave, Claire. You're not supposed to be there." A pause. Then, in a whisper that chilled her blood, "Because that's not where I am." Claire dropped the phone. The message ended with a faint sound of knocking, 3 times. Slow and hollow. From the front door. For 2 hours, Claire didn't move. She just sat on the floor, eyes fixed on the front door. The knocking had stopped, but the sound echoed in her chest long after. 3 slow, deliberate knocks, like someone testing to see if she was home. Finally, she forced herself to stand. Every instinct screamed, "Don't look," but she did anyway. She pulled the curtain aside just enough to see the porch, empty. No footprints on the damp wood, no mail, no packages. Just the pale glow of the streetlight and the quiet sway of the wind chime Daniel had hung there the summer before he died. It was spinning slightly, though the air was still. Claire locked the door, deadbolt and chain, then backed away, her pulse throbbing in her ears. She wanted to call Maggie to tell her everything, but what would she say? "Hey, my dead husband called me again, and now he's knocking on my front door." No one would believe her. She sat on the couch with her knees pulled to her chest, staring at her phone. She deleted every voicemail, but the memory of that last one wouldn't stop replaying in her head. Because that's not where I am. What did that mean? She finally drifted into a shallow sleep near dawn. The light coming through the blinds felt harsh, unreal. At 9:30 a.m., her phone buzzed again, this time a text message. "Unknown. You shouldn't ignore him." Her blood ran cold. She typed back, hands shaking, "Who is this?" No reply. She tried calling the number, but the call failed before the first ring. That day at work, she couldn't focus. The diner smelled of burnt coffee and bleach, and every time the bell above the door jingled, she jumped. The older cook, Ray, gave her a worried look. "You okay, kiddo? You look like you've seen a ghost." She forced a smile. "Just didn't sleep much." When she clocked out at 5, she noticed something strange. Her phone battery was draining fast, down to 7%, even though she hadn't touched it all day. She plugged it in as soon as she got home. It powered off on its own. When it restarted, her wallpaper was gone, replaced by a black screen with faint white text. Voicemail saved, new, play. She froze. It wasn't even in her voicemail app. It was just there, floating on the screen like a message written directly into the phone. She hit play. Static again. And beneath it, a faint rhythmic sound. Tap, 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 like fingernails on wood. Then Daniel's voice, quiet, strained. "Claire, you need to listen to me." Her breath hitched. "Something's wrong," the voice continued. "I'm not where you think I am." The sound warped, distorted. Then another voice cut in, a whisper overlapping his words. "He shouldn't be talking to you." She ripped the phone charger out and threw the phone onto the couch. What the hell is happening? She whispered. The air around her felt heavy again. The same coldness from that first night crawled up her spine. She heard the faint hum of static, not from her phone this time, but from the TV, which had turned itself on to a dead channel. White noise filled the room, hissing softly. She grabbed the remote and turned it off. The noise stopped for half a second, then came again, louder, from somewhere behind her. The cordless landline phone on the kitchen counter had lit up, its screen glowing red. Incoming call, unknown. She stared at it. The ringing didn't sound normal. It was slowed down, drawn out, warped. Her name appeared next, Claire. She hadn't programmed her own name into it. The phone rang once more and stopped. Then the same low knocking started again at the front door. 3 times, slow, heavy. She backed away, heart hammering. "Go away," she screamed. "Just go away." No answer. When she finally dared to look through the peephole, her stomach dropped. Someone was standing there. Not Daniel, she could tell that instantly, but a tall man in a black coat, his head tilted slightly, like he was listening. She couldn't see his face, just the faint outline of it through the frosted glass. Then her phone buzzed on the couch. A new voicemail. She didn't touch it. The figure on the porch didn't move. The voicemail notification pinged again, louder, as if demanding attention. Finally, trembling, she picked it up and hit play. Static. Then Daniel's voice, panicked, desperate. "Don't open the door. Claire, no matter what you hear, don't let him in." The man outside knocked again. This time faster, 5 sharp, angry knocks. "Claire," the voice on the recording cried. "Please don't." The message cut off. The door handle rattled. She stumbled backward, phone clutched to her chest. Her pulse roared in her ears, and then silence. The handle stopped moving. The porch light flickered twice and went out. When she finally opened the curtain, the porch was empty again. No man, no footprints. Just the wind chimes swaying slowly in the dark. She sank to the floor, shaking, tears running down her face. The phone buzzed one last time, one new voicemail. She almost didn't play it, but something made her thumb press down anyway. It wasn't Daniel this time. It was the woman's voice again, soft, whispering, "He's not your husband." Then silence. And beneath it, faintly, the sound of a door creaking open. Somewhere inside the house. Claire's house didn't feel like hers anymore. Every hallway seemed longer, every shadow deeper. She kept the lights on now, even during the day, like that would somehow keep whatever it was away. After the last message, that woman's whisper, "He is not your husband." Dee spent the entire night sitting in her car, parked at the end of the driveway. The idea of being inside those walls made her stomach twist. When morning came, she drove to the sheriff's office. The woman at the front desk looked up from her computer. "Morning. How could I help you? I need someone to look into some calls I've been getting," Claire said. Her voice was shaky, the words tumbling out too fast. "From my husband's number. He's been dead for months." The deputy at the desk gave her a look that was half pity, half confusion. "Ma'am, recycled numbers happen all the time. But if you think someone's harassing you, they're not just calls," Claire interrupted. "They're messages. He knows things he shouldn't, about our house, about me. And there was someone outside my door last night." That last part got his attention. He asked for her phone. She handed it over, desperate for him to hear something, anything that would make her seem sane. But when he opened the voicemail app, it was empty. "Everything's gone," he said, frowning. "What?" No, I swear they were there." He shrugged. "Could be a phone glitch. I can file a report, but without evidence." "Forget it," she said, snatching the phone back. Just forget it. By the time she got home, she was shaking with frustration. She slammed the phone onto the counter, staring at it like it was alive. "You want my attention?" she said aloud, her voice breaking. "Fine, you've got it." Nothing happened. No buzz, no message, no whisper, just silence. She almost laughed, the kind of brittle, humorless laugh that comes right before you break down. "I'm losing my damn mind," she whispered. She grabbed a bottle of water from the fridge and turned toward the living room and froze. Her wedding photo, the one that had been hanging above the mantel for years, was lying face down on the floor. The glass wasn't cracked. The nail was still in the wall. She walked toward it slowly. Her reflection shimmered faintly in the glass as she picked it up. Behind her reflection, she thought she saw something else, a faint outline of a man standing just over her shoulder. She spun around, no one there. The air had that same electric charge again, that same feeling of being watched. She put the photo down and backed away, heart racing. That's when her phone buzzed. New voicemail, unknown. She didn't want to listen, but she had to. The static came first, softer this time, almost gentle. Then Daniel's voice. "Claire, please stop trying to find me." She frowned, confused. "Find you? What are you talking about?" She whispered to the empty room. The voice continued, urgent now. "He's pretending to be me. Don't trust the calls." The message ended abruptly with a high-pitched squeal, like microphone feedback. Claire stared at the phone, frozen. "He's pretending to be me." She replayed the voicemail twice, but each time it got fainter, like it was fading with every listen. She grabbed her laptop, desperate for answers. She searched Daniel's old number, then the area code, looking for anything. Reports of scams, hacked lines, paranormal forums, nothing. Then she tried his name. Daniel Reed voicemails after death. One result caught her eye, a discussion thread from 2 years ago on a paranormal message board. The title read, "Voicemails from the Dead, same number, same town." Her heart skipped. She clicked it. The first post was from a woman named Rebecca. "My fiance died in a car crash on Highway 23. A few weeks later, I got voicemails from his number, just static at first. Then he started talking. I thought it was him, until he told me to stop answering. Said someone was pretending to be him. I moved away, but the calls followed. The thread ended abruptly. No replies, no closure. Claire's skin went cold. Highway 23, Daniel's accident. The same road. The power flickered. The lights dimmed, then came back stronger. Her phone buzzed again, even though she'd put it on airplane mode. "Unknown, I told you not to listen." She backed away from the desk. "What do you want from me?" The phone buzzed again. "Unknown, I'm here." A knock echoed through the house. Not from the door this time, from the hallway. Soft, slow. She turned her head toward the sound, throat tight. "Daniel?" Nothing. Then another knock, closer against the wall near the bedroom. She moved slowly down the hall, every step heavier than the last. The sound came again, a muffled, rhythmic tapping. It seemed to come from inside the wall. Her phone buzzed again. A voicemail notification flashed. She pressed play with trembling fingers. Daniel's voice, low and panicked. "He's in the house, Claire." "Don't." The message cut off with a sharp burst of static. Then came the final knock, louder, closer, right behind her. She turned slowly, and for a split second, she saw him. Daniel, standing in the doorway. But his face wasn't right. Pale, eyes too dark, too wide. His mouth open like he was trying to speak, but what came out wasn't words. Just a garbled, static hiss. Claire screamed and stumbled backward. The lights flickered violently, and when they steadied, he was gone. Her phone lay on the floor, screen cracked but glowing faintly. A new voicemail notification blinked across it. Unknown, stop running. Sarah barely remembered leaving the police station. The next thing she knew, she was standing in the middle of her living room. Drenched in rain, the phone clutched in her hand like it was part of her body. Her reflection stared back at her from the dark window, pale, hollow, trembling. The voicemail icon blinked again. Her stomach turned cold. She didn't even want to breathe. Her thumb hovered over the screen. For a moment, she thought about throwing the phone in the fireplace, about running outside and never coming back. But then the curiosity, or maybe the hope, pulled her thumb down. Play. This time it wasn't static. It was the sound of the wind, soft, whistling through trees, and then a voice. Sarah, her husband's voice. Softer this time, closer. Come outside. Please come outside. Her body went numb. Every hair on her skin stood up. She turned toward the window and froze. The streetlight flickered once, then went out. In the darkness beyond her front yard, something moved. A faint figure. Just standing there. Michael, she whispered, voice trembling. The shape didn't move. A phone buzzed again, another voicemail. Then another. Her screen lit up. A dozen new messages, all from Michael's number. The timestamps were seconds apart. New voicemail 006. Sarah. New voicemail 007. You left me? New voicemail 09. I'm cold. New voicemail 010. Come outside. She backed away slowly, heart pounding so hard she could barely see straight. The phone slipped from her hand and hit the rug with a muffled thud, still buzzing. Stop it, she whispered, shaking. Please stop. Then the sound of her door handle moving. She spun toward it. The lock rattled once, twice, then silence. Who's there? She called, her voice barely more than breath. No answer. Her phone lit up again. Another voicemail. I'm right here, Sarah. The words echoed in her head as she stared at the door. Something inside her snapped. She lunged forward and yanked it open. Cold night air rushed in. The porch light flickered weakly, casting long shadows over the wet ground, but there was no one there. Just the whisper of the wind, the distant drip of rain. She stepped outside, barefoot on the cold wood, heart hammering. Michael, she shouted. If this is some kind of joke, a soft click made her turn back. The door had shut, the porch light died, and then, from behind her, a whisper, You shouldn't he have opened the door? She spun around, no one. But her phone, which she'd dropped inside, started playing the voicemails out loud through the open window. Her own voice echoed back at her. You left me, you left me, you left me. Each one layered over the other until it sounded like a chorus, hundreds of Michaels whispering the same phrase. She ran back to the door and grabbed the handle. It was locked. She twisted it, slammed her shoulder into it. Nothing. The whispers grew louder, rising and falling with the wind. And then faintly, from the dark yard behind her, footsteps. Slow, wet, heavy. One step, another. Sarah froze. A shadow stretched across the porch, long, distorted. The shape of a man. She didn't turn around. She couldn't. Her whole body was shaking uncontrollably, her breath shallow and fast. The phone speaker crackled again. You promised you'd never leave me? Her eyes filled with tears. I didn't, she cried. I didn't, Michael. The footsteps stopped. Right behind her. For a heartbeat, the world went completely silent. Then something cold touched the back of her neck. It was like ice. She gasped, spinning around, and the world tilted. For a brief instant, she saw him, or something wearing him. His outline shimmered in the rain, his eyes black and hollow, mouth opening wider than it should. "Stay with me?" She screamed. The porch light burst, glass shattering. The phone inside went dead. The street went dark. When the police arrived hours later, called by a neighbor who'd heard the screaming, they found the front door ajar, and Sarah's phone lying just inside, screen cracked, battery drained. On it were 19 new voicemails. Each was 3 seconds long. Each contained nothing but the sound of rain. And at the very end of the last one, barely audible beneath the static, was a voice whispering, "She's with me now." Morning came slow and gray over Millfield. The sky hung low, swollen with clouds, the kind that promised rain that would never quite stop. The sheriff's truck idled at the curb outside Sarah's house while 2 deputies combed through the yard. No sign of struggle, no blood, no footprints. Just her phone, lying face down on the wooden floor, the battery fried and warped as if it had been struck by lightning. Sheriff Dale Rourke rubbed his jaw, staring at the house with a knot in his stomach. He'd known Sarah since she was a kid. He'd gone to Michael's funeral. He'd seen the way she'd stood there, barely breathing, eyes empty. He couldn't shake the feeling that she'd never really left that graveyard. "Sir," one of the deputies called. "You should hear this." They'd managed to recover part of the last voicemail, the one sent at 2:46 a.m., minutes before she vanished. Rourke took the phone, pressing it to his ear. The recording hissed softly, the sound of wind and rain, and then, "Sarah, stay with me?" And then, the unmistakable sound of her voice, soft, trembling, whispering back, "Okay." Rourke swallowed hard. "That all?" "Far as we can tell," the deputy said. "No forced entry. No signs she left on her own, either. It's like she just disappeared." The sheriff looked back toward the porch. The broken light bulb still hung by a thin wire, swaying gently in the breeze. A single raindrop fell from it, darkening the wood below. "Bag the phone," he muttered. "We'll get it analyzed." But as he turned to leave, he thought he heard something. A faint, ghostly hum, like static. He stopped, listened, nothing. Maybe he was just tired. 3 days later, Sarah's house went quiet again. No one came, no one called. But at 3:03 a.m. on a Wednesday, a new voicemail appeared on her phone. Unknown number, one new message. The phone, still sealed in an evidence bag on the desk of the Millfield Police Department, buzzed once, then twice. The screen flickered back to life, though the battery wasn't connected. A small red light blinked in the corner. The recording began automatically, speaker crackling softly in the empty room. "Hi," a woman's voice said, faint but clear. "This is Sarah. I'm sorry I missed your call." Then silence. And beneath it, barely audible, a man's voice whispered something. The recorder cut just one word before it cut off. Forever. A week later, the house went up for sale. The new owners were a middle-aged couple from Connecticut, looking for a quiet place to retire. They liked the wraparound porch, the big kitchen, the view of the woods. They didn't ask about the missing woman. They didn't want to know. The real estate agent didn't volunteer the story either. She'd grown up in Millfield. She knew better. "Perfect for starting over," she said with a smile. They moved in a month later. On the first night, as the husband unpacked boxes, his wife called from the living room, "Honey, did you leave your phone plugged in somewhere?" "I keep hearing something." He frowned. "No, why?" She pointed toward the wall phone, still mounted beside the front door, an old rotary model the previous owner had left behind. The line wasn't connected, but the dial tone was humming faintly, as if alive. "Probably just interference," he said, unplugging the cable. The sound stopped. They both laughed nervously. That night, the wife couldn't sleep. She lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to the wind brushing against the trees. At 3:03 a.m., she heard the phone again. Ring. She sat up. Ring. Her husband didn't stir. The sound was coming from downstairs. She crept out of bed, her bare feet silent on the wood floor. The air felt heavy, colder than before. As she reached the bottom of the stairs, she saw the rotary phone glowing faintly in the dark. The dial spun once on its own. Click. Then a voicemail tone. You have one new message. Her hand trembled as she lifted the receiver. Hello? Static. Then a woman's voice, soft and familiar. Hi. This is Sarah. I'm sorry I missed your call. The woman froze, blood draining from her face. Who is this? She whispered. A long pause. Then, behind the voice, a man's whisper. Deep, distorted, barely human. Don't answer him. He's with me now. The line went dead. She dropped the phone, heart slamming against her ribs, backing away until her shoulder hit the wall. From the corner of the room, she thought she saw movement, a flicker near the window. Two figures, just silhouettes, standing side by side. The woman's voice again, faint but echoing from everywhere at once. You shouldn't have answered. The lights flickered once, twice, and then went out. The next morning, the husband found the phone dangling from its cord, swinging gently as if someone had just hung up. He told himself it was nothing, just a dream, just the wind. But that night, when he went to charge his cell phone, he saw a new voicemail notification. Unknown number, one new message. He hesitated, thumb hovering over the play button. Then he pressed it. Static filled the room, soft and distant. And through it, two voices whispering together in perfect unison. We're right behind you. The phone fell from his hand. The recording kept playing. Outside, in the faint reflection of the living room window, two blurred shapes stood side by side, holding hands, smiling, watching. The end.